Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. Today's video, I'll be honest, is probably not going to be very exciting, but I ask that you bear with me because I'm going to show you some stuff that we do here in our homestead that saves us a lot of money and increases our knowledge. So I think that several of you might benefit from this, especially those homeschoolers out there. But homesteading, prepping, all of that, you could benefit from this if you've not discovered. This isn't something new we've created. It's just a small investment that we made that's just made it better for us. So I ask that you kind of hold on, because it's not some tactical, awesome equipment or some, on my soapbox, patriotic speech or anything. So while it's maybe a little boring, I think it could benefit you. One thing that I talk about a lot, and many other channels and books and everything that, whether it's homeschooling, homesteading, prepping, all of that, is that you need to have a good home library. It's essential that you have a good home library because of all the things in those three arenas that you will come across. You need to have the ability to look things up and to find the answers and to learn. Well, everyone, you can go to bookstores and you can buy them, and you can buy them on Amazon. New books are kind of pricey sometimes, so I'm a big, pusher for, thrift stores. I love buying books at thrift stores. But there is another option, and that's free books online, PDF forms. PDF format. And you can find thousands and thousands and thousands of books on those subjects, or anything that's kind of, about homesteading, homeschooling, and prepping online for free. They're free PDF downloads. Articles, books, different things like that. But there's a downside to that. It's an electronic format. What if your power goes out? What if your computer dies? What if there's an EMP and you obviously can't access it? What if you're dependent upon the internet to find information and, eventually something happens to where the internet isn't quite as, available or as free as it is now? There's always those out there trying to put restrictions on the internet. So that's why a lot of people, especially in the prepper homesteading mindset, say, well, that's not necessarily the best way to go because of those negatives. Well, of course, you can download them and print them off. Well, there's a big negative there, as many of you know. Home printing costs are not cheap. You can buy a printer. Inkjet printers are crazy cheap. It's the ink. Those ink cartridges are insanely expensive when you start doing larger volume printing. Most ink cartridges, the average one will print brand new, factory, made, original equipment factory, on average will print about 150 pages. And they cost anywhere between $20 and $40, sometimes even more. Yeah, you can refill them, but not all of them work that well refilling. And typically when you refill them, you don't get as much use out of them, as many pages. So when you start to figure out how many ink cartridges you'll go through, whether they're remanufactured or new, and you're doing a lot of printing of books, it gets expensive, and it'll get expensive really fast. So I found something. It's kind of relatively a new technology, not brand new, and it's nothing I just discovered. It's just something out there that's available, and for those of you that may not be aware of it, I thought I would show you because it has made a big difference in our home, especially with homeschooling, but also in preparedness and just homesteading, all the stuff that we're able to together. So I'm going to switch the camera around and show you some of what I'm talking about and what has worked for us. Now, before I get going, I don't make any money off of promoting the products because I'm not really promoting them. I'm just explaining to you what we do. So I'm not getting anything from any of these companies. All right, let me change positions on the camera and we'll show you what we've got. All right, so I hope you can kind of see this. I will leave some information in the description to let you know, what I'm showing you here. This is what I'm talking about. This is basically just a regular old inkjet printer. And there's been this fight, and I'll try not to go too deep into the, what's going on in the business world with inkjet printers. They sell them cheaper than it costs to make them a lot of times, because they know they make their money off of the cartridges. That's where they make their money off of. And so sometimes you can find brand new inkjet printers for under 30 bucks on sale. Well, people don't like that. And so some companies are trying out something new, which instead of having the little cartridges, I know you really can't see it probably, but inside you normally have a little cartridge, that you remove. Instead, it has a print head with tubes on it. And on the side, it has these what's called little tanks. This is an Epson, and they refer to it as an EcoTank. HP and Canon also make these, and I think maybe a few others now. And it's just basically little bottles built in that you fill it up with just liquid. There's not a cartridge there. This is kind of like the old toner, like a copy machine when you'd have a bottle of toner and pour it in. Usually it was a powder. Well, this is liquid. And you fill these little tanks up with ink and you print. Well, the thing is that when this is filled up, it will print between 4,000 and 6,000 pages. We're still we've had this about a year now. We've printed around 3,000 pages on the first filling, and the black is, I've gone through a little bit more than 2/3, almost 3/4 of the black ink is gone, and about half on the different color inks. To refill it, you buy a package of these. You get 2 blacks, the blue, the orange, or the yellow, and the red. Well, that's not what they call them, but anyways, you buy these, they're $19, and that'll fill between 4,000 and 6,000 pages. It all depends on how much, obviously, ink and color is on the page. So you're going to be able to print the vast amount of more paper. Remember what I said, those little inkjet cartridges that you buy typically are good for around 150 pages. And I know they make like the big ones, the extra capacity ones and things like that, but they don't compare to this. So you're talking for $19, you can buy enough ink to print between 4,000 and 6,000 pages. And so far, like I said, we're about on par. We've done a little bit more than 3,000 pages so far. And like I said, there's over half of the color ink is still there, because you can see on the sides, it's just little liquid reservoirs that you fill up. Some of you may be aware of this already. A lot of you may not. I know, again, it's not cool, but trust me, it helps. It helps save money. So, this, like I said, this is just a normal printer. Oh, there's something in there. Got a scanner on top, printer. They make different ones. This is a Epson, can't remember, Epson ET2550. This is kind of more of the base model one. Basically, it's a little slower than the big fancier ones. We got this on sale for around $150. I think they usually retail full price around $175. So you do pay more for the printer than you would for just the cartridge type of printer. In a comparable printer. But you save so much more in printing. So if you're going to be printing a few pages, 4 or 5 pages a month, sure, get one of those cheap printers and you'll be fine. But if you're homeschooling, homesteading, prepping, and you have, you want to print out a lot more, because trust me, there are thousands. I'll try to start leaving some links in this description. There are thousands and thousands of books out there that are free to download, and you just print them off. Yeah, this was the cheaper one, the lower end of the models that have this tank type system. So it's a little slower, but it's fine for us. If you wanted to pay another $50 to $100 more, you could get one that would spit paper out a lot faster, but it does fine for us. It's not super photo quality, but, we don't need that. I'm not printing out pictures necessarily. So, you can save a lot of money, because there are, like I said, just tons and tons of books out there and for homeschooling needs. And we print out all kinds of paperwork for the kids, and actual books that they need to, that they should read, things like that, handouts, little, worksheets and stuff. And then for prepping, for survival, bushcraft, foraging, food storage, different types of survival manuals when it comes to homesteading, gardening, canning, raising livestock, all that kind of stuff. There's just a ton of different books out there that you can download for free. And then you sit here and you print them off. And because your cost is so cheap, it's worthwhile. You can buy the big boxes of printing paper really cheap now. I mean, you can buy, I think, around 5,000 sheets of paper for, $12, $15, maybe cheaper if you look around. So you can print out a lot of books for your family, for the various needs that you'll have on your homestead. And because the ink is so cheap, this thing pays for itself so fast that it makes it worthwhile. At least it does to us. Now, so you print off and you got all this loose paper. What do you do with it then? Well, of course, the obvious answer is to get like a three-ring binder and punch holes in it and put it in there. Well, three-ring binders aren't cheap either if you go buy new ones. $5, $10, $15 a piece sometimes for those three-ring binders. So we also did something else to go along with this. We bought a little bookbinding machine. Okay, it's non-electric. It's all manual. It's the kind that makes the little plastic whatever spirals on the end. Now, the disadvantage to this is it usually only will do about 150 pages per book in one of these little plastic binders. Now, I'm not sure if they make them bigger, but this one, it's about 150 pages max. So if you're doing something that's more than that, you probably are going to have to go to the big three-ring binder. But a lot of the stuff that we do works really well. This, with all these little plastic things, we got a few boxes of those, cost $60, roughly $60. And here's an example. This is a book that I printed off. It's a complete book, the Complete Outdoorsman's Handbook. And it's got a nice little front and back cover, and printed it off. And there we go. My wife makes her curriculum planner, and then she makes a planner for each one of the kids for their homeschooling, so they can put their work, what they're doing that day in it. And this is one that she just printed off, and she finds this kind of stuff free online. And it's not necessarily all from one site. She just puts them together from the different websites she's been. And you can also make this kind of stuff up if you're pretty technologically talented on a computer to design this kind of stuff. But these are some examples of what you can do. And so we've got between these two machines a little bit more than $200. And the amount of books that we have done already, and that we have, when we find them, we download them, and then they're just, as we get to them, we print them. And then we can bind them up like this so that there's nice little books, and they go in our library. And I'm telling you, there's so much out there that you're able to do, and I say, hey, as long as you've got the internet now, you might as well take advantage of it, because you may not always have that. There may come a day that either the internet goes away or is greatly restricted, or maybe the electricity just no longer works, or you don't have it available so that you can get online. So while you have it, you might as well take advantage of it and build up the knowledge base for your home so that you have this bigger library for all the different subjects that will, come in handy with the things that you're doing. And someday, if an SHTF happens, having that available is going to be very valuable, because people are so used to just getting on their phones and Googling something, of actually knowing how to repair something or to make something or just to learn something on their own or through a book is almost foreign to so many people. So having that in your home available is going to be a really big, valuable asset for you. All right, I get it that this isn't super cool, but it is something that's been very beneficial to us. And I'll leave some information in the description on these things, because I know you probably can't see it too well from the camera angle and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, I thought, some of you might find some benefit in this, because it really has benefited us. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.